Hello guys, in this video you will see what is the top 10 best ground units in this update 16.5. Every unit, yes, every units in this video are all obtainable and not from trading. Oh my goodness, if I hear one of you guys again telling me where Homer is, bro, she is unobtainable, so shut up. I do want to know, what do you guys think is the best ground unit in this update 16.5? Remember to subscribe and like, and with that being said, let's just get right into the video, bro. Oh my god, I love anime adventures. Alright, the first unit is Ants Overlord. Ants Overlord is one of the best ground unit as he will be able to hit both air and ground enemies. Especially, he will become a full AoE at later upgrades, and as well as Ants spawns a summoner unit which will deal 1,725,762.19 damage at max upgrade, which is insanely strong. Ants Overlord stats at max upgrade and max level are 345,152.44 damage with his SPA at 10 seconds, making his damage per second at 34,515.24, which is one of the most overpowered damage per second. Especially, he will be able to hit both air and ground enemies at later upgrades and becomes a full AoE, as I have said. How to evolve Ants Overlord is by defeating the brand new Undead Tome Legend stage, which you will have to continuously grind multiple of the legend stages. Especially, you'll be needing 10 of each Overlord ring, blue, red, and yellow. Ants Overlord damage types are magic and dark. Okay, next unit is Luffy Gear 4. Luffy is still one of the best ground units to have, especially he is very cheap to max upgrade, and at later upgrades, you'll be able to hit both air and ground enemies in this update 16.5. Luffy Gear 4 stats at max upgrade and max level are 205,719 damage with his SPA at 6.4 seconds, making his damage per second at 32,143.59, which is incredibly overpowered as you can place 4 of Luffy Gear 4, and Luffy Gear 4 at later upgrades will be able to hit both air and ground enemies, which is insanely strong. Although he is no longer multi-hit at his last ability, so he will struggle against shield enemies, so that is not very pog, bruh. Luffy Gear 4 is incredibly easy to evolve as you just have to continuously defeat the puppet portal, which are easy to defeat even if you are soloing the portal. The best trait you can have on Luffy Gear 4 is Divine, as he is a 4 placement. Although if you are going to be using Luffy Gear 4 in Infinity Castle, then the best trait you can have on him is Unique, which Luffy is insanely strong for Infinity Castle on how cheap he is to max upgrade. Luffy Gear 4's damage types are physical and fire. Alright, next unit is Roger Pirate King. Roger is one of the best ground unit with his overpowered passive, and Roger is still currently the best DPS in this update 16.5. Roger Pirate King stats at max upgrade and max level are 298,614 damage with his SPA at 5 seconds, making his damage per second at 59,722.8, which is insanely strong. Especially, Roger is the current best DPS in this update 16.5. What makes Roger extremely strong is that placement. He will be able to stun ground enemies for a few seconds. How to get Roger Pirate King is through opening the brand new Summer 2023 capsules, where there is a tiny chance for you to get Roger. So good luck to everyone who is trying to get Roger Pirate King, and I definitely suggest trying to get him because he is a limited secret unit. So if you're a collector, then go get him, bruh. Roger Pirate King's damage types are physical and fire. Okay, next unit is Kiro Bites the Dust. Kiro is actually one of the newest units added in this update 16.5, and he became one of the best ground and support unit as he will be able to rewind any kind of enemies at later upgrades. Kiro Bites the Dust stats at max upgrade and max level are 375,605 damage with his SPA at 7.4 seconds, making his damage per second at 50,757.43, which is incredibly overpowered since at later upgrades he will get an ability called Bites the Dust, where it will rewind enemies, and it doesn't even have to be in Kiro's range for the ability to affect the enemies, which is pretty overpowered if I do say so myself, bruh. How to evolve Kiro to Kiro Bites the Dust is by defeating the new raid, Bizarre Town, countless of times, because you'll be needing 400 killer coins and star fruits for you to be able to evolve one of the newest JoJo Bizarre units. I do recommend to buy all of the Heart Bomb Raid Relics since it will help you once you have bought every single of the Heart Bomb Raid Relics. Kiro Bust the Dust damage types are Magic and Rose. Alright, next unit is Griffith Ascension. Griffith is still the most overpowered ground and even better than the Overheaven himself with Griffith's extremely overpowered passive in this update 16.5. Griffith Ascension stats a max upgrade and max LR, 20,711 damage with his SPA at 6.3 seconds, making his damage per second at 3,287.46. You might be wondering, why does he have such a low stat? Well, it is because you have to sacrifice units. If you sacrifice buff units, Griffith will turn into Griffith Reincarnation where it will buff your units by 100%, and you can stack your buff with Griffith Reincarnation, which is incredibly strong, which can be used in this brand new tournament in this update 16.5, and honestly, he is being used for every single tournament. If you sacrifice units that aren't buff units, then Griffith will become a full AoE DPS, which is the most overpowered unit in anime adventures, even better than Dio Overheaven, which is insanely strong. Do keep in mind that Griffith does not have a cap, making it insanely overpowered, so I definitely recommend trying to get your Griffith's damage to 300 plus damage before he transforms, because it will be broken for Griffith to have such an insane amount of damage with him being a full AoE, multi-hit, and will be able to hit both air and ground enemies. Like, damn! Griffith's buff is based on the cost of the unit, which if you have maxed out the unit, it will give more percentage of the damage or buff before Griffith transforms. Alright, next unit is Josika Unbreakable. Josika is one of the newest units added in this update 16.5, and he became one of the best ground and support units. Since at placement, he will be able to stun enemies. Oh my god. Josika Unbreakable stats a max upgrade and max LR, 333,636 damage with his SPA at 9.1 seconds, making his damage per second at 36,663.29, which is insanely strong. Especially, you'll be able to stun enemies on placement. On top of that, his damage per second is incredibly good. How to evolve Josuka Crazy Diamond to Josuka Unbreakable is by defeating the new raid Bizarre Town countless of times, because you will be needing 400 killer coins and star fruits for you to be able to evolve him. Yes, both one of the newest JoJo Bizarre units. I do recommend buying all of the Heart Bomb Raid Relics since it will help you once you have bought every single one of the Heart Bomb Raid Relics. The best traits you can have on Josuka Unbreakable are Unique, Divine, and Godspeed, and his damage types are Physical and Aqua. Alright, next unit is Guts Berserk. Guts Berserk is one of the most overpowered unit with his full AoE and overall one of the best ground unit, and as well as you'll be able to hit both air and ground enemies at later upgrades in this update 16.5. Guts Berserk stats a max upgrade and max LR, 326,850 damage with his SPA at 12 seconds, making his damage per second at 27,237.5, which is insanely strong. Especially, Guts is a full AoE and will be able to hit both air and ground enemies at later upgrades. Guts also does an addition of 25% bleeding in 4 ticks, which is the best tick you can have on a bleeding unit. How to evolve Guts to Guts Berserk is by defeating the brand new Eclipse Portal, which can be obtained through the Win Him Infinite mode, which is incredibly easy, especially the map is huge, so you can place further back if you are playing solo. Guts Berserk's damage types are Physical and Fire. Okay, next unit is Albedo Overseer. Albedo is one of the best ground units, as at later upgrades she becomes a full AoE, which is insanely strong. Albedo Overseer stats a max upgrade and max LR, 207,091.46 damage with her SPA at 7 seconds, making her damage per second at 29,584.49, which is insanely strong, especially she is a full AoE, and at later upgrades she'll become a multi-hit, which will be great against shield enemies. How to evolve Albedo is by defeating the brand new Undead Tome Legend stages, which you will have to continuously grind multiple of the Legend stages. Especially, you'll be needing 10 of each Overlord ring, blue, red, and yellow. Albedo Overseer's damage types are physical and dark. Okay, next unit is Poseidon, Tyrant of the Seas. Poseidon is still one of the best ground unit with his full AoE and will be able to hit both air and ground enemies at later upgrades in this update 16.5. Poseidon, Tyrant of the Seas stats are max upgrade and max level are 339,342 damage with his SPA at 9.1 seconds, making his damage per second at 37,290.32, which is one of the best damage per second, especially he is a multi-hit which will do well against shield enemies. How to get Poseidon, Tyrant of the Seas is by defeating the new secret Tyrant of the Seas secret portal, which you can obtain through defeating the summer portal. Poseidon damage types are physical and aqua. Okay, next unit is Stain Hero Slayer. Stain Hero Slayer is one of the best damage per second ground unit in this update 16.5 since the ability that he will get at later upgrades is extremely overpowered. Stain Hero Slayer stats are max upgrade and max level are 91,870 damage with his SPA at 5.6 seconds, making his damage per second at 16,405.35, which is insanely strong. How Stain Hero Slayer works with his ability is whenever Blood Curdle is activated, Stain's damage will deal 3 times more damage to every bleeding enemy inside his range. The ability can create 4.5 times of Stain's current damage, as well as it stuns enemies for 2 seconds. This ability is not a global ability, which technically you can spam the ability. There is a 10 seconds cooldown on enemies who have been affected by the ability, and the ability cooldown is 20 seconds. Stain Hero Slayer will be extremely good when pairing with bleeding units, especially Gus Berserk, who is one of the most overpowered unit in this update 16.5, where he will be able to hit air enemies at later upgrades, making Stain Hero Slayer the best, especially when Blood Curdle is activated. It will attack every enemies that are bleeding, bro. Stain Hero Slayer's damage types are physical and dark. Alright, next unit is Law Room. Law is one of the best ground and support unit, as the ability that he will get at later upgrades is extremely strong in this update 16.5. Law is also extremely overpowered to bring in Infinity Castle, not only because his ability, but how surprisingly cheap he is to max upgrade, which will be useful in Infinity Castle leaderboard runs and many more. Low room stats are max upgrade and max level are 150,141 damage with his SPA at 5.9 seconds, making his damage per second at 25,447.62, which is insanely good for support, as he has an ability outplacement called Shamble. When activated, the enemies will be teleported back, which is insanely strong, and he is way better Lulugias, and that means Lao Room would be valuable in Infinity Castle and leaderboard runs with his Shamble ability. The Shamble ability affects air, ground enemies, and bosses, which is insanely good. Law Room is incredibly easy to evolve, as you just have to continuously defeat the puppet portal, which are easy to defeat even if you are soloing the portal. The best trait you can have on Law Room is unique, as he is a 3 placement, and alternative trait you can have on him is Sniper. So you'll be able to teleport back more enemies with this huge range. Law Room's damage types are Magic and Aqua. Finally, the last unit is Demiurge Demon Emperor. Demiurge is the first burn ground unit that will be able to hit air enemies at later upgrades in this update 16.5. Congrats, Demiurge. Demiurge Demon Emperor stats are max upgrade and max level are 159,138.28 damage, with his burning doing 63,655.31 damage over 4 ticks, with his SPA at 12 seconds, making his damage per second at 18,566.13. With burn, at later upgrades, Demiurge will be able to hit air enemies, which will be very useful in portal grinds, legend stages, since you won't be able to struggle as much against air enemies at later waves, especially this Demiurge that's burning damage, which having Mangekyo Eye Relic equipped on Demiurge will be the best relic equipped on him. How to evolve Demiurge is by defeating the brand new Undead Tome Legend stage, which you will have to continuously grind multiple of the legend stages, especially you'll be needing 10 of each Overlord ring, blue, red, and yellow. Demiurge, Demon, and Para damage types are Magic and Fire. That was everything for this video on the top 10 best ground units in update 16.5. I hope this video helped you in some sort of way. Remember to subscribe and like, and I will see you in my next one. Bye bye. I love you guys.